McCall always finds himself surrounded by good people? Please tell me the secret. Like, he always just so be, look, he always just so happen to just land in a sea of good people. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be reviewing the new Equalizer 3 movie, the final in this franchise. We have a nice little trilogy, and I was a huge fan of the first Equalizer. I have seen that movie 1,100,000 times, and I honestly do not even remember the second one. Like, I truly don't. I can't remember watching it. I know I watched it, but I cannot remember the movie. I can't remember if I liked it or not. So I will be rewatching it though, because I am going to be ranking all of the movies in the Equalizer franchise for the members. And I also feel like I am going to do maybe a tier list ranking, some kind of ranking of my favorite trilogies to go, you know, coincide with Equalizer. I'll also be doing that for the members. So if you are not a member of the channel, make sure you check out the join button and check out the different tiers and member perks. It helps so much for the channel, you guys. Now, Equalizer 3, we find McCall settled in Italy. He ends up where he is in this little town that he likes the town, he likes the people, but he once again has to come to the defense of the weak, the weary, against this like crime boss that is trying to take over this little town. Now, y'all already know, because I said 1,100,000 times, that I do not watch previews. And so, of course, I went into this blind. I didn't see any previews, but sometimes not watching previews goes a little wrong, because what I do when I go to the theater is, because I'm still mad that I saw that new Exorcist trailer. I'm so mad because I forgot what movie I went to see, but they played the trailer, and I walked in late, but they were still playing trailers. And this time, when I came in for Equalizer 3, I walked in a little too late, and the movie had already started. So I'm not sure how much I missed, what I missed, but I came in pretty much at the beginning, I think, because I walked in where we have McCall in this room with some goons, and he goes to say 9 seconds. That's what you have to decide your fate. That's where I came in at. And we get a great little opening scene here where McCall is fighting these guys. He tears, y'all, did he rip the guy eye out, shoot the guy? Something happened very brutal and gory to somebody's eye. And then McCall ends up shooting another goon through that person's eye. Like, the gun was in their eye. He's like using it because he's using a person's body as like a shield and shooting through his eye. This was an amazing scene. So after that whole thing goes down, McCall walks outside. He sees a kid in the car. And I swear before God, when McCall tells the kid, like, don't move, and then turn his back, all I could think was, I bet that kid finna shoot him. I bet that kid finna shoot him. And the kid does. You can't turn your back on no child. Yo, I saw Blood Diamond, okay? The little soldiers. And then also Blade, where that little kid was kicking Blade behind. Look, just because they kids don't mean you can let your guard down. So McCall ends up getting shot, pretty, like, fatally wounded. And he goes to try and drive, but he ends up on the side of the road. And he just so happens to get found by this guy, Gio, who happens to be a cop. But Gio ends up taking McCall to his friend, who is also a doctor. And the friend was Enzo. And they end up patching McCall up and asking McCall, like, are you a good guy? Are you a bad guy? Like, good man, bad man? McCall doesn't really know. But McCall is here, and he is walking on this, like, cane. Y'all, when I tell y'all, that was one thing that I kind of didn't care for. Was I'm like, I thought we was gonna get a time jump. Like, he could barely walk. How is he gonna fight anybody? I was very curious how that was gonna go, because McCall is wounded. He can barely walk. This little town has like all these like stairs that you have to walk down. He could barely breathe. He could barely walk up and down the stairs. He could barely walk. The old lady is trying to tell him, like, take time, baby, on these steps. But one thing the movie does do well is I felt very attached to Enzo and Gio family. I ain't want nothing to happen to them. Like, look, leave them be, bro. And I literally said that at the top of the movie. I was like, all I know is they better not die. That's all I kept thinking. But we end up having pretty generic villains, where we have these two brothers. The big brother is like the head of everything, and he actually just really mad because the younger brother looked better than him. And you know, as the oldest, you gotta be the most attractive of all the siblings. I mean, I am. You can't let the younger siblings like look better than you. So I get why he upset. So they pretty much go through this town. His younger brother is kind of the henchman above the other henchmen, and they all run through the town like collecting money. McCall out here trying to live his little life on the low, and he see this fisherman with his shop get beat up because he ain't got the money to pay. He had to like fix a freezer, and McCall trying to mind his business, but he really can't mind his biz naive, and he just like staring the gangsters down when they come up out the fish market, and they look at him, but they just keep going because I mean, it's just this old black man with a motherfucking cane, so he ain't really much of a threat. Now, something that they throw in that I was very excited for, that I felt let down, was we have, my mind just blanked. What is that white girl name, y'all? What is that? Oh, Lord. Dakota Fanning. I couldn't think. We have Dakota Fanning here, who we all know the amazing movie they did together, Man on Fire. I was very excited to see Denzel and Dakota Fanning on screen together again, but I gotta admit, it was a dud. Honestly, I feel like they had no chemistry, and Dakota Fanning's character felt like such a waste. Honestly, why was she here? Just to bring the guy his retirement at the end? I mean, that's really the only purpose she served. I was so confused. But anyway, within the story, McCall ends up calling Dakota Fanning, who works for the CIA, and telling her about where she could find where he just killed those people, because I did see in that scene he like shot a bottle of wine that was in a case, and apparently they're smuggling drugs in cases of like wine. And so he calls her at the CIA, which I was confused at first because she answers the phone, but then we see her in the field, and I done seen enough like Criminal Minds and all kind of cop stuff and FBI, CIA movies and shows to know you either have a desk job or you a field agent. Typically, if you answering phones and got a desk job, you ain't in the field. But they do explain it in the movie that this is like Dakota Fanning's first field assignment. But she ends up coming in to try to investigate what's happening. But it was kind of nonsensical to me when she pops up for McCall, because if I'm a part of this, why would I call the damn CIA? Like, why would I call and tell on myself? I don't know, whatever. But they throw her in the movie. Now, we end up having the two villains, the two brothers, little brother, big brother. And another little hindrance with the movie is the action is very few and far between, and the conversations in between the action, those very few and far between, but the conversations aren't dynamic enough. They're not interesting enough. It really feels like the movie completely drags for like the entire second act. I mean, we get this great opening scene, and then the movie just kind of drags. And honestly, it don't really pick up. We do get a few nice scenes, but it dragged. And we then end up having it where that guy at the fish market, his shop gets burned down. It's very devastating. The community comes together to try and like help them clean up and do all the stuff, and McCall is there. Now, Gio the cop goes to work, as he should, and he sees surveillance video because they have like security cameras like in the alleyways and different stuff. And he clearly sees the gangsters pull up to the fish market in their truck and light the place on fire. He calls in the tags or whatever. Now, the little brother and his goons end up popping up on Gio, holding the cop goes to pick his daughter up from school, and the teachers are like, oh, one of your cop buddies came and picked her up. Now, I guess other countries is a little lackadaisy when it comes to picking up kids from school, but I remember trying to pick my little sister up from school when she was a kid. Like, if you are not authorized and you are not on the list to pick a kid up from school, last time I checked, you can't just go pick a damn kid up from school. But apparently, over here in Italy, you can, child. Sicily, is Italy and Sicily the same? I don't know. They somewhere, like, over there. So, immediately, Gio knows something is wrong. He rushes home. And I thought this scene was odd. Gio rushes home. The goons are in his house. Before he could, like, see his family, you could hear his wife scream. The wife and daughter is in the bedroom. The wife has on a shirt and underwear. Why was the wife in underwear? Did they assault her sexually? Like, I was very confused and thrown off as to why this woman was in her underwear. And not only was she just in her underwear, but it's never addressed. Like, why was she in her underwear? But anyway, so they beat Gio down, grab his daughter, put a gun to her head, threaten the daughter. But this really felt so asinine to me. Y'all committed a crime in full view of a security camera. Did you not expect anybody to do their job? Like, this felt really stupid. Whatever. So, for some reason, we just keep messing with Gio. And that was irking my nerves. So, Gio and his family are in a restaurant sitting out to eat. The goons come in. Whole restaurant scared, quiet. And the little brother goon go over to Gio table like, oh, you my errand boy now. I need you to do X, Y, Z. Now, I do like this scene. And I like how the camera pans over to McCall over in the corner. And the little brother goes over to McCall's table. We have a great little conversation. Denzel had, all the dialogue is a little shaky, but Denzel has some good dialogue, and the best little lines throughout the movie come from his character. But he's having a conversation with the little brother goon, and the guy's like, are you threatening me? He's like, no, he said, are you warning me? And McCall is like, I'm preparing you. I love that little exchange. And he ends up being able, because he says something to the little brother goon about his watch. And when he go to like pull his hand up with the watch, McCall grabs his hand and presses on some sciatic nerve, something like that. It's debilitating for the guy. He ends up being able to have him call off his goons, send them out the restaurant, put his gun on the table. And I love when a bully messes with the wrong one. So I really love this scene. And I was sick of them messing with Gio and his family. Like, leave them people the hell damn alone. Them people are already traumatized. So they end up walking out of the restaurant. But of course, when the little brother goon is outside and he talking to his little peeps like, give me your gun. We about to kill him. So he ends up telling the guy to get in the car and bring something over to him. I think he said bring him a gun or something. The car ends up going full force, killing one of the goons. And then, of course, we know McCall is out here. And I knew he wasn't finna just let them leave. So, now little bro dead. We get this little sequence. And, of course, now Big Brother upset, want to know who killed his brother. And Dakota Fanning character is in town. And she goes to meet with the police chief. And the second we see him, I'm literally like, I don't trust you. But honestly, I don't trust nobody in situations like this. Because when we saw the big brother head gangster in the damn church, what the hell you doing in the church? I ain't trust the priest. But I apologize, priest, because you went in on nothing. But I didn't trust you. Now, the police chief ends up going to see the big brother goon on like the day of his little brother funeral. He pull up by himself in a room by himself with the goon and all his little goons. And talking crazy to the big brother goon. You by yourself, no backup, surrounded by this man, people, and you talking crazy on his turf? I don't reside in the gangster world, but I know that ain't smart. And of course, he ends up getting his hand stabbed and cut the hell off. And we then end up having Dakota Fanning going out to do something. She gets told that the police chief has been attacked. She gets a call from McCall that saves her life. We get this explosion and they go take her to the hospital. And I'm literally thinking, am I safe in the hospital? Because they told Gio they got folk working for them. We know they got the police chief. I ain't trust Dakota Fanning, little partner in the CIA that was in the movie. I ain't trust nobody. Now, we end up having it where the big goon comes to the town because he looking for who killed his brother. Yet again, we single out Gio. And I'm just like, why do y'all keep singling this man out? And I almost feel like it ain't make no sense because there's a point where the little brother goon is trying to handle something. And the other goon makes a comment about the big brother. He's like, he don't tell me what to do. Like, we don't need to tell him what's going on. So I'm like, wait, how the big brother know they had anything even going on with the cop? Like, I don't know. Why we kept singling out Gio was beyond me. They had the wife and daughter. They had snatched them up. The whole town is out. We got a gun to Gio. We damn shoot his ear off. I can't remember if he just shot the gun next to his ear, which, mess you up. And the guy ear was bleeding, or if he shot his ear off. I can't recall, but it was messing the boy up. And McCall comes out like, you looking for me, you want me, here I go, like mystical. And I was literally thinking, like, how the hell is he finna get out of this? Because you walking over, you surrounded by goons, and old boy ain't finna just take you somewhere. He finna shoot you in front of everybody to, make a statement. But that's when Enzo pops up with his gun and everybody started taking out their phones and cameras to record. So like, yo, boss, they recording us, we on camera, we gotta get out of here. So this is another little like line from Denzel character that I love, where they finna hightail it out of here. But the big brother goon is like, I'll be back and I'm gonna burn this ish down. Hurry up, bro. McCall is just like, all right, hurry up. I'll be here. So, of course, we know McCall ain't finna wait for y'all to come to him. Dakota Fanning is in the hospital. She laid up. She out of commission. Again, I don't know why the hell she was here. I get, she brought the man his pension, so whatever. So we then end up seeing all the goons together talking about what they're gonna do the next day because they finna, kill McCall and tear the town up. And of course, this is when we get like the third act final showdown. But literally, we was watching and I was like, this is the third act. Here it is. It's happening. It done start. Okay. It was very anticlimactic. I'm so sorry, but I felt like it was. McCall go through, kill the goons, gets to the about to get to the main goon, and this ain't make no sense. We got one of the goons sitting at a table, looking at a laptop, looking at security footage. You could literally see McCall in the room behind him, and the guy just like, bro, why is you still just staring at the security footage? He gets killed. The main big brother goon laying in bed, and I was confused because the big brother going on with the bed, and I doubt he got like an 8 o'clock bedtime. Simultaneously, the whole town got some kind of church ceremony happening where they walking through the streets. What time was it? I was very confused. But anyway, and I'm confused because, y'all, what was the church doing? What was this ceremony? What was they doing when they was walking through the streets? What was that? But anyway, The big brother goon wakes up. He got blood dripping on him. And I'm literally sitting watching the movie like, how long does it take you to realize blood is dripping from the ceiling? Like, it drips on him. He touch it. He looking at it, rubbing it between his fingers. He smells it. It drips on the pillow next to him. He rub it in, smelling it. It's taking him forever. Finally, he looks up and a body breaks through. He has like a glass ceiling and it breaks through. He jumps off the bed and he's walking through the house. His goons are dead. He's trying to call different goons' names. Wake one guy up that has a knife sticking out the back of his neck. I don't think he waking up, bruh. Now, we then end up seeing McCall with the big brother main goon foaming at the mouth like Cujo. It was very disgusting. And he has overdosed the goon on the drugs that he was buying. And the goon runs out the house, running towards the gate. Where he running to, I don't know. Was he running to the hospital? We were literally watching old boy die for like 5 minutes. Then he get hit by a car. And he's still dying for another 5 minutes. Okay. Now, we end up discovering that all this started because some old guy pension was stolen who rode in McCall's cab. So we all know pension was better than 401k. You know, when they started privatizing retirement, that was terrible. So this man need his pension. The pension is where it's at. It was like $300-something was the old man pension. He left with nothing. And we find out that Dakota Fanning is the daughter of the lady and the guy from Independence Day that was in the previous film. She their daughter. But this all started because McCall was trying to get that guy pension, which led him to that scene I said at the beginning when he was fighting them people in that little room, trying to get the pension money back. How McCall always finds himself surrounded by good people? Please tell me the secret. Like, he always just so be, look, he always just so happened to just land in a sea of good people. I expected better fight scenes, but we gotta remember Denzel is like 60 years old. I get it. The opening scene was amazing. Definitely brutal, but the action was very few and far between, and the dialogue just wasn't enough to sustain the movie. Like, the dialogue in the first Equalizer with like the little sex worker girl, what's that girl named? Chloe Grace, that girl. Like, their dialogue, that was good. The dialogue with the main villain in that one, the dialogue here just was so honestly unremarkable, not memorable, drab. It really dragged. The bad guys were so generic, cliche, good people in this small town. The villains also, with being cliche, weren't very particularly intimidating characters. Felt like a very weak part of the story. The whole story, honestly, like this, the main plot feels very weak. And when I think about it, what the hell was even their motivation? What was the villains' motivations? They was buying drugs from terrorists to like build resorts and casinos in a small town. Like, nigga, go to the bank and get a business loan. Like, I'm very confused. Like I said, Dakota Fanning's character felt very useless, but you know, and she's supposed to be smart, but all her ideas come from McCall. There are moments, I want to say 2 moments in the movie where she literally recites word for word what McCall told her to her partner. Like the whole why Sicily, why the most secure port, and the it's not terrorists, it's the Calabria, whatever that name was. Like, what's she here for? I would have liked more nuance to the story, maybe some twists, maybe some surprises, especially for the curtain call of this franchise, of this character. Everything felt pretty by the numbers, but honestly, it was enjoyable enough. I enjoyed it. Mainly for Denzel's character. It was a scene where the bad guys were like riding their motorcycles to go to the apartment where the big brother was. It felt like such a drawn out scene for no reason. I was like, how the hell long do we have to watch them ride through the city on their motorcycle? Like, I don't know. It just feels like a bulk of the story just stalls. The third act final showdown, like I said, very anticlimactic, especially when you compare it to the final showdown in the first movie. Compare these villains to the villain in the first movie. And I'm comparing it to the first movie because, like I said, I honestly do not remember that second movie. I just don't. I want to say, I know I saw it. I want to say I went to the movies to see it, but I don't think I've ever rewatched it, so I have bad memory, y'all. And I literally rewatch movies and it be feeling like I'm watching it for the first time. Am I the only person who's like that? Because my memory is that bad. So I really only have the first movie to compare it to because that's in my memory bank. I've seen it 50, 100,000 times. We just don't get anything we haven't seen. And I actually really love this director. And I love how he directed this. There were some great shots. We get like this aerial view. I think that's what it's called. This like aerial view of the city with the ocean. It looked like a postcard. I liked how that looked. We also get this really cool view when Denzel is first injured and patched up and he's like going down the steps. I want to say maybe the first or second time he was going down the steps. I can't remember. But the way the camera highlights him, the way we see him, the way he's shot in that, when the camera pans and circles and gives the like this height to the shot and different stuff. I love how we see him when he's going down those stairs. There were definitely some great ideas with how this was shot, the angles we got. The restaurant scene when the thugs are harassing the cop and his family, the way the camera pans to Denzel, I love how that is. But look, how does McCall know any of the information he knows? Who knows? Like I said, wasn't impressed with the mashup of Denzel and Dakota here. No chemistry. And maybe it's also because her character just felt useless. I really feel like you could take her character out of the movie and nothing would change. We could have just had no name, CIA following this whole thing. It wouldn't have made a bit of difference. The characters, the story, it was all very one note and predictable. Not a bad movie. I liked it. It was okay. It was enjoyable enough. It does feel like one of those movies that takes too long to get to the point. Kind of like when my mama be talking and trying to tell me something. I'd be like, okay, you going all around the block just to circle right back around. And, mama, just get to it. That's how I felt with the movie. It took a long time to get to the point. Then it gets to the point and you're just kind of like, oh, okay, that's it. But Denzel Washington is still the coolest MF alive. So I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 10. Few far between action, but I honestly feel like I like the send-off for this character. I like the fact that he gets a happy ending. I mean, how many of our action stars in these franchises get like a happy ending? He gets a happy send-off. I'm actually okay with how that closes out. I just wish everything else sandwiched in before that was a lot more entertaining. I wish they would have breathed a little new life into this and gave us something exciting. Yeah, we could have did better. But like I said, I'm giving them a lot of leeway because Denzel is about 60 years old. I think he's 60. I don't know, maybe older. But I completely understand that he may be not, capable of doing all this, action that I kind of wanted to see in here. And of course, I didn't even go into this expecting like an action-packed movie, obviously. But give me a lot more dynamic action scenes, interesting characters, premise, and dialogue that keeps me entertained and sustained between the fights and the action. We just did not get that here. But I do think this was enjoyable overall. Like I said, solid 4 out of 10. Pretty much on the strength of just the magnetism of Denzel Washington. Like, he carries this through for me. Let me know in the comments, how did you feel about the Equalizer 3? Could they have just left it? Let me know how you felt about this. And again, for members, I will be ranking all of the movies in the Equalizer franchise. And I will also do some type of tier list ranking, some type of ranking of our trilogies. Let's see how Equalizer as a trilogy stacks up amongst our others and some of our favorite trilogies. If you have any that are your favorite, drop them in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.